Hello and welcome to Bridge TV. Last time I was joined by Jason Cost and Alison Nash. This time I'm joined by the management team, Darren and James. How are you guys? How are you, Darren?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I am perfect, apart from no football, but
Yeah, apart from that.
can be. And James, how you doing?
Yeah, mate, all good, all good. Hope you're well.
Well, I'll jump straight into it, and I just want to know your thoughts. Starting with you, Darren, on the pause of the league season that was made a few weeks ago, and was it sort of unexpected news or just your general thoughts on it?
Yeah, you probably see me have a few rants on Twitter about it. If I'm honest, I think it's all utter nonsense that we're the only, us and the step above are the only two steps that are paused. If you look around, there's leagues above us and below us playing football, and you can play football on a Sunday, but you can't play football at our step. So for me, it's completely non-football related as to why we've stopped playing, which is disappointing. It's just that the game seems at our level seems more about business and money than it actually does the game. And I think that frustration is coming across with a lot of the players as well, that they're being stopped playing when it means football means a lot more to them than money sometimes in certain aspects. So very frustrating. Been a very stop-start season. You got to think we've only played five league games, and it's Christmas and we played 5 league games. So it's a bit ridiculous when you put it like that.
Do you feel like you've almost been, where you've been branded on the non-elite tag, I believe, you've sort of been left out in the cold, and has there been a lack of communication and just you've been left to wait for things to happen and decisions to be made?
As management, obviously we just get passed on stuff by our chairman and secretary. So I wouldn't say it's a lack of communication. I say lack of clarity is massive, because they're saying one thing and doing another half the time, and they've come out with some weird statements lately that say a lot but nothing at the same time. So it's a little bit confusing as to why we're not actually playing and why it's paused. But it is what it is, and I've learned a lot that saying and used that saying a lot this year. It is what it is, and we just have to try and get on with it when we're allowed to.
And James, obviously you was before the lockdown, you was the one on a match day there, so unfortunately Darren, you were banned. So was it frustrating from your point of view as well to suddenly go from the match day and play and seeing your players play, setting everything up and trying to pick up form, and then told you can't play again, and then lockdown's over, we could play, and then again, no, still can't play? Is it just a frustration?
Oh, it's massively, it's a part of, our lives, we eat, sleep, drink, it's football 9 times out of 10. So it was very frustrating, Darren wasn't there, but obviously we just got on with it as usual. And, we lost the 2 games that I was in charge, but I thought in one of them we was very, very unlucky. And the other one, we changed shape and we lost towards the end of the game. So there was glimpses in them 2 games that I thought, we can, turn the results around, because we was on a little run of defeats. But, it's just so frustrating not to see the boys and just be that, the normality of a football season, really.
And just out of interest, when you weren't at the games, Darren, I've had this question for ages on my mind. How did you actually keep up with what was going on? Was it the Twitter feed?
Twitter updates.
Oh God!
If it weren't for your Twitter updates, I would have lost my mind. Because I'm part of the band, is I'm allowed to go to watch other games. So I'd be at another game, but it was pointless me being there, because all I was doing was just constantly refreshing Twitter, waiting for one of your updates. And you like to scare me a lot, but no, that was what it is. It's just the Twitter updates, and then we and James just catch up after the game. There's no point me being there and being in contact during the game, because I'm not there. I can't see what's going on. I haven't got the feeling for the game. So James always knows, like, when it's down to match day, it's him. He's in charge. His decisions go. Whatever he feels is right, he does. And since he's done it, he's had to do it a couple of times, unfortunately. He's had a very good record. So there's no doubt in that the relationship we have is, it's like we're the same person anyway. 9 times out of 10, we have the same thought processes. So it's pretty much, I know that what's being done is what I would want anyway. So it's a weird one, because I'm relaxed, because I know it's in good hands, but I'm also it's frustrating, because it's worse than being a fan, because when you're a fan, you're there and anticipating a goal or anticipating everything, but you know you can't affect it. But when you're the manager and you can't be there, it's like you can affect it, but you still can't do anything about it. It's a horrible, horrible feeling, and hopefully this will be the last time it happens.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that partnership between you two, you made it to 3 years at the club, probably a few weeks ago now. Would you say that this pandemic's been the most difficult obstacle to overcome, or as a management team, you've managed to keep tabs of it and overcome it with not necessarily ease, but just manage to overcome it? I'll start with you, Darren. Or
Go on, James.
Yeah, no, for me, no, this isn't the hardest challenge we've had. I think if we go back then 3 years, I think when Darren was, pretty much confirmed that the job was his, we went and watched the game, and I'll tell you what, I knew it was going to be a challenge then, but losing our first 2 games and conceding 10 goals, I remember walking off the pitch away to Great Wakeling and looking at Darren and going, "What have you got me involved in here, mate?" It was a rough place to be around. It, we had to release a lot of players and bring some players in very quickly, and for me that was so much more challenging than this. Yeah, it's different, it's weird, it's something that no one's used to, and we just sort of got to go with it a little bit. Really, the rules are changing daily now, it seems. So for me now, the most challenging thing was when we first come in. I don't know if Darren will agree. He might have a completely different
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. That first 6 months, it was horrible, but so rewarding. So
I feel like you would have learned a lot during those months. So
incredible amounts. Like we went in and our first game at Ilford, we was 1-0 up in 10 minutes. We looked at each other and was like, "Oh, this is easy."
Yeah.
We went on 3-1 there, and then when we lost 7-1 on the Saturday at Wakeling. And I remember going to Ian at the time, the Wakeling manager, O'Connell, and going, "Oh, this is going to be tough." And he just looked at me and said, "You'll do fine, mate." And then, when you think that it's nice that people had the belief in us that we would do fine. But that first, I'd say 5-6 months where we battled against relegation, kept them up, and then started building the squad that we really wanted, that we knew could compete. That was the toughest point. That was the tough point, because we had to lose some friends as well. It wasn't just players there. Obviously, where I was at the club before, I knew a lot of them already, and it was tough because we had to let go of some friends as well as players. So it was extremely tough. And then I'd also say the last 2 months of the title winning season was tough, because it took us to a new level where we'd never been before. You got to think we're new to this game, so you got to think in our first year and a half, we've been in a relegation scrap and survived, and then been in a title race and won it. So we've gone from one extreme to the other. So adjusting our mindset and mentality to go, and we're looking to go and win a league rather than not lose games and stay up. It was a total flip of the switch, and that was tough. And there was times during that where I did start to feel the pressure. And I remember a phone call to James saying, "No, we're done. We ain't done it now." And then
always remember my phone call to you.
Yeah, exactly. The Southend Manor game where I wasn't there and James took the game, and he rang me, he's gone, "Dad, I've blown it." And I've gone, "No, you ain't. We've still got time. We've still got time." And we just backed the players, and that's the joy in it, that we've made key signings at key times during that run-in that did get us over the line, and for that we'll be forever grateful, because it's something that will stay with us for a long time. And I don't think it will be fully appreciated by us until we're 40, 50 years older than we are now, because I think that's when it will really, really settle in. When we look back on it, we'll realise what we achieved, where at the time we was in the moment and it was brilliant. The day was brilliant and everything like that, but we won't really settle down and really realise what we've done until a long time. So yeah, the first 6 months and then the last 2 months at title win season. This pandemic for me, it's a case of it's out of our control, so I'm not stressed about it. It's not something we can control, so we just get on with it and we do as we're told, in a way.
I guess it's been more about adapting to it. So during the lockdown period, I'm guessing you would have had to been keeping tabs on the players and making sure they're fit and staying sharp. How did you manage to do that? Is it just about trusting them?
Yeah, they absolutely hate us because what we're asking them to do. But no, we're on an app called Strava. We've got a club on Strava, so we track their runs, and then every Tuesday night we set them the target for the next week, and we're on their case about it. We don't just do it and hope they do it, but we're very fortunate that we've got a very, very good group of players that I trust with my life, and they're doing what's asked of them week in, week out. And I can't fault them one bit for how professional, so to speak, they've been during the lockdown.
Is there anything you'd like to add to that, James?
Yeah, I think a few of them have been a little bit, naughty and haven't maybe done as much as we had hoped, but a little stern chat, and now they've gone from being the bottom couple to now the top boys that are going out for the runs and doing a little bit further. So they knew they was in the wrong, and that's the sort of boys we've got. They learned from their mistake, and then they've gone and rectified it, and that's all we can ask for. It's a tough time, isn't it? And there's nothing worse than keeping yourself fit when there's not really an end goal at the moment to play a game of football. That's what you want to be doing. So sending boys out on runs and other little bits and pieces, for them it must be a little bit tough knowing that there's not a reward of a game of football come the end of the week. So yeah, it's been challenging, but the boys have done very, very well, it has to be said.
In a strange way, it's a sort of pandemic allowed you to improve and the players to improve and come closer together, where you had to battle through and make sure everyone's sticking up the task, and the players themselves, they've had to independently make sure they're staying fit. Would you say it's made the team closer?
Well, we have, like Darren said, we have got a very, very close-knitted group. I know boys car share, and some boys, are closer than others. So I think between them all, one would be like, oh, I'm a little bit tired today, and they'll be, no, we're going for it. So they've been really, helping each other pull through it. So they've been supporting each other along the way, and that's, all we can ask for.
Yeah. So there's not really much of an update right now on when we can expect to see Hullbridge back in action after the statement from the league that seemed a statement that said there's got to be a statement.
Again, it's a statement that says a lot but nothing, because they've said that we're now allowed fans in tier 3. So why not give us a date that we're going back?
Yeah.
It comes down to there's no clarity. There's no clarity in what they want or what they're going to plan to do, and it's difficult because, again, like James said, that we won't be in as a group without a date. Once there's a date, that's when we'll be back properly. But until then, the boys are out on loan and getting their competitive football in elsewhere. But again, it's the clarity. There is a statement with a lot of words in, with no real meaning behind them, because they're saying one thing but not backing it with facts and dates, which is a shame.
Do you feel as though it should have been a time when all the teams sort of came together just to bring football back, rather than a time when maybe certain teams decided to not play the game? Or
for me, it should have been more the FA saying to the leagues that this is when you're playing, and not leaving it up to other people to decide, because there's been a lot of rumours going around that some teams have said no to playing in the league, but then they're quite happy to play in the FA Trophy and get some prize money. So for me, I think it shouldn't be left into the league's hands to be picking and choosing. I think the FA should have gone, you're playing or you're not playing, and it would have been just as simple as that. No if, buts and maybes, and there would have been clarity, and there wouldn't have been all these contradictive statements that you see. So
exactly that. I'm following on from that when the league then tried to be all democratic and put a vote out, they didn't put a vote to the people it actually matters to, which is the players. They're the ones that play. They've put the vote out to the chairman, where the chairman don't think about the players, so to speak, and what they need. All they're thinking about 9 times out of 10 is their bank balance and how it's going to affect them financially. And that's what it seems the decision's been made on. It's not been made on football. It's not been made on what the fundamentals of the game and why we love the game. It's been made on other aspects, the business, the football side of it, where for me, if you can't have a secondary income of a bar, adjust your budget. If you're not allowed fans in, adjust your budget. It's not hard. The game of football is the game of football. It's not a game of football, but we can only play if we have this much money through the gate. On a Sunday, you turn up with your mates. Why? Because you love the game of football. So why change that just because you're playing and you're fortunate enough to be talented and playing at a higher level? Doesn't change the fundamentals of what football is to people.
And is it shown where obviously players have gone out on loan just to get some football and that feeling of just playing football again? It's just showing their commitment as well and how much they just want just to get back playing.
Yeah, we've got 13 or 14 now out on loan. We made it very clear because we trained last Thursday before we knew exactly what was happening. And at the end of the training, I said to them, they've got two options. They can either come in and carry on training and we play friendly games, but they won't get paid. Or they can go out, the ones that want to, can go out and play competitive football. We can get them out on loan, play competitive football and do that. And then if you don't want to go out and play competitive football, you'd rather go to work and so on, or spend time with your family, that's completely fine because, like James mentioned before, getting players motivated to play friendlies week in, week out and to train with no real goal at the end of it is soul destroying. We found that last year when we was getting a lot of games called off. Actually getting anything positive out of a training session was tough because they knew they weren't playing at the weekend. So they're thinking, what's the point? It doesn't matter what we do today if we've not got a game to showcase that in. So it was very, very easy for us to make that decision. And we've said to the players, if they do go out on loan, they're going out for free because they're not going to go out and earn money from football and take football away from somebody else. So every single one of them's gone out for free. So they've gone out to senior leagues and furlough nuns and so on, free of charge, just because they want to play football and competitive football, which is credit to them in my eyes.
I suppose without the football, it's like studying for a test. But there's no test.
Exactly.
I can imagine the frustration from it all. So we're going to move on now to some Twitter questions. Hat trick of questions from Andre Thomas.
You need to get off Twitter. These questions are incredible.
So we'll start with the first one. So you've got to field a starting 11 using managers, assistant managers, and coaches you've worked with or gone against, and why put them in that position. Darren, we'll start with you on this one.
Well, my full 11 straight off the bat.
If you want, if you've got a full 11.
Full 11, mate.
Yeah, it could be controversial. I don't know.
Eh?
If you want to go farther side, you can go farther side. I'll let you.
I'm ready. I've got my team, and it's a good team as well.
All right, go on, go do it.
In goal, we'll go with my current goalkeeper coach, Ryan Frost. Played with him since I was a kid, and if anything, he'll bring great banter and pull off the odd fantastic save, but probably get lost in the process. So he's good for entertainment value. Left back, it's going to be controversial because he didn't really play there much, but it'd be Jamie Stewart, the old Grays manager I worked with when I was at Grays, legend at that club. And if anything, he's an absolute lunatic of a man that I love dearly. Centre back will be me. You've got to put yourself in. And probably Rob Hodgson, who I took over from at Hullbridge, who I worked with before I went to Grays. Went to school with him. Probably one of the best centre backs I've ever played with. Incredible player. Right back, I'm going to go Andre Thomas because he's put the question in. And
you can't leave him out.
No, I'll put him in. He's at right back. Don't even know if he can ever play right back, but he always says he has a bit about himself in training and always tries to do the demos and stuff and normally made a fool of himself, but we'll see what he's got. We'll put him in, see what he's got. Then in midfield, I'm going to go 4-3-3. I'm going to have one holder, which will probably be Barry Coogan, who done a bit of coaching with us at Grays when he was there. Played in FA Cup finals. A top player and a top bloke, Barry. And then the two in front of him will be Glenn Paul. Again, done a bit of coaching with us at Grays. Good friend of mine, good player, played in the league and so on. So it's nice to have a bit of quality. And then next to him, Joe Gadsden was probably our coach. He likes to say he's got a bit, Denny James. He's got a bit about himself. So he'll be delighted that he can have the 8 or 10. He can choose whatever role he wants. He can just stroll around with a bit of arrogance about him. He could love it. And then front three, I'm going to go in the middle, Paul Hayes, our current first team coach. Obviously, what he's done in football speaks for itself. To the left of him, going to go Roy Darbo. Again, coach when we won the league. So he's up there, up top, and he's played a very good standard. He was at Tottenham for years and so on. And then to the right of him, we'll have James.
So, all in your prime.
What was that, Tom?
All in your prime, where does that team finish in your league, in the Hullbridge League, DCN?
Oh, it does well, I think.
Yeah.
That's winning it.
Yeah,
that's champions, mate.
That midfield,
the front three,
that's having a good goal. That's having a real good goal, that, Tom.
I don't know, the left centre back, it's a bit unreliable, that Darren, isn't he?
All I'm there for is to keep Jamie Stewart on a leash and try and keep him on the pitch. That's all I'm there for. Love Jamie to bits, prone to a red. I'm just there to try and calm him down. That's all I did at Grays. We'll stand there and try and calm him down for 90 minutes. So that's what we're doing with Jamie. But no, that's my team, and I reckon we give the playoffs a good go.
And James, have you got a team, or do I give it five aside? Or is he frozen?
He's got that scared. He's frozen.
I think that's just what five-a-side team. So.
Right, you're going your five-a-side team.
Come on, in, mate. What's your five-a-side team?
I don't know. I'll have to have Buddha in goal. I'm going to go controversial. I'm going to put the groundsman in.
Yeah.
You know, we played with him. He was very, very good. I'll have to go with you. To be fair, we should boycott this question for me because I literally can't even think of a five-a-side team. I'll literally be having Joe, Dubs, and Paul. I can't have Mike Wolver, can I?
No, wherever you like in your team.
Let's be real now.
Good 5-0 team, though.
Yeah, the 5-0 might have some tech, but you at the back with your fitness is questionable.
Steady. Steady.
So we got Darren's team potentially getting promotion, and we've got your team.
Oh yeah, mine's
Division 4 goals in Dagenham.
Stonewall.
So we've got another question from Andre as well. So if you take three good things from all the people you've worked with, or read up on, and you take skill sets they've got to add to your game, what would you take? So just pick one person you've worked with and take three good things. That's the one. There we go.
I've been thinking about this one. Yeah, I've been thinking about this one. If I could take a mixture, I'll be taking Andre's. Honestly, I remember one game I think we played Coggleshaw away and we was awful. And before me and Darren came to speak, he must have spoke for 15 minutes. I wanted to go and run for a wall myself. He was so passionate, and yeah, for me, his motivational side.
But you're going always tune.
Second to none. If I could take Roach's, pardon?
That's right. Just freezing a little bit. It's all right. Carry on.
All right. Can we say it again?
No, it's good. It's good.
All right. So yeah, then I'd go for Roachy, who's at Concord now for his philosophy. His detail to the game was, second to none. And then if I could have a mixture of Joe and Dars, with Joe's, I'll say anger or forcefulness towards it, and Dars' man management. If you could blend that into a coach, then, well, you've got some man there, let me tell you.
And Darren, yourself?
My phone's like,
no, I think the connection is just a bit.
You need to put 50 pin, James.
I described it as auto tune.
Mine, I'd go for Andre Thomas's enthusiasm. His enthusiasm and his love for the game is unquestionable. And there was times where, say you've been at work all day, you turn up to training or you turn up to a game and you're a little bit flat and demotivated. Andre walks in straight away, you're up and you're ready to go. and that's something he just oozes, and he doesn't even try. It's just his enthusiasm and love for the game is incredible, and that's one of the things that I love about him the most. Second one, again, I'm going to go what James said to a degree about Roche, James Roche at Concord. His attention to detail is incredible, and he says stuff that we don't even think about, and he was saying it. And if you got to think, this is when we first went in to the senior league, and we first went into the job, and we was fighting against relegation, and some of the stuff he did, and without him, would we have stayed up? Maybe not. He was a huge part of it, and fully deserves where he is now in the National League. So fair play to him. But yeah, his attention to detail was incredible. And I'll probably go Jamie Stewart's passion. Jamie Stewart's passion for the job, and his passion for when he tries to motivate players, and that's one thing I learned from him, is that every player's different, and you need to know how to get the best out of them players. And Jamie's his passion was just oozed out of him. Sometimes too much, and he'll say that himself. Sometimes it oozed out of him too much. But yeah, they're the three things that I think were incredible about them people.
And the final one from Andre. So out of all the players you've managed, which player would you like to play with, and why? We'll start with Darren. Yeah, we'll start with you on that one.
My one's quite easy. Jamal Allen.
Okay. Who was that?
Jamal Allen. I'd love to have played with Jams, centre back with Jams, because I can't run or really pass a ball, but I'd just let him do all that, and I'd just head it and kick it as far as I possibly could. And to have someone of that composure next to you would have just relaxed me, I feel. And it, for me, one of the best players I've coached or managed. Yeah, I'd love to play with Jams.
And James, who would you pick to have played with, who you've managed?
Dial-up internet struggling tonight, isn't it?
So Darren's gone with Jamal Allen, and James will give his answer.
As Darren's put me up top, I'm probably going to go with Ollie. Yeah, mine's. I've got 40, and I'm going with Ollie.
Right, perfect. And then there's a second part to this question. Which two players would you employ as your assistant manager and first team coach? Darren, we'll start with you.
First team coach, Glenn Paul. I've tried numerous times. It's common knowledge that I've tried when we've been looking. I've tried to get Glenn in with us. Got a lot of respect for him in what he knows in the game, and the few sessions he put on still as a player when we was at Grays were extremely good. So that's one player that I'd like to bring as a coach, and as an assistant, hard act to follow with the little man down there, but will probably be Andre Gums, our captain at the moment. His football brain is incredible, and I could talk to him for hours about football. And I know he thinks about the game like an assistant manager or like a manager would, and we call him our manager on the pitch. So I think Andre would be the assistant, and Glenn Paul as first team coach.
And James, you got an answer for that one? Which two players you'd employ as your assistant manager and first team coach?
Yeah. From talking to all the boys, I think my I've had a lot of chats with Rosie, and he gets football. So for me, it'd be Rosie, and then my assistant, just for the people, would probably be E-Man.
Hopefully soon. You never know. We're back in person at Hullbridge game.
Hope so, man. Well, it's pretty obvious that I won't see you before Christmas, even if we do go back on the 19th. So have a great Christmas, mate. And I won't see any of the Hullbridge people, so I hope they will have a very good Christmas as well. And to everyone watching it.
All right, guys. All right. Cheers.
Good day, mate.
I'll stop recording now.